PPI inflation report June 2025. Wholesale prices remained unchanged in June, defying expectations of a 0.2% increase and offering a mixed signal on the impact of tariffs on inflation. This contrasts with a 0.3% rise in the Consumer Price Index reported earlier this week. While final demand goods prices rose 0.3%, this was offset by a slight decrease in services. The seemingly muted impact of tariffs is further supported by year-over-year figures showing headline PPI up 2.3% and core PPI at 2.6%, both the lowest since September and July 2024 respectively. These figures, along with the CPI data, show annual inflation rates above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Despite the inflation data exceeding the Fed's target, markets are not anticipating an interest rate cut at the Fed's upcoming meeting. This suggests a cautious approach from the Fed, waiting to assess the full effects of tariffs before making any rate adjustments. Energy prices saw a 0.6% increase in June, while food prices rose 0.2%, though some categories, like chicken eggs, experienced significant price drops. The mixed signals from the PPI data, combined with the Fed's cautious stance, continue to shape the economic outlook.
In our next story, Jensen Huang woos Beijing as Nvidia finds a way back into China. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang recently concluded a highly successful trip to China, marked by optimism and significant developments in US-China tech relations. His visit included a wonderful meeting with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng, focusing on the resumption of Nvidia's less advanced H20i chip sales to China after a 3-month halt. This seemingly represents a trade-off, with the understanding that allowing these chips into China is linked to Beijing's release of rare earth materials. Huang confirmed that discussions did not involve China's restrictions on battery technology or rare earths. He also met with Xiaomi CEO Lei Jun, discussing AI applications in various sectors. While Huang played down his personal role in influencing the decision to lift the chip sales restrictions, he emphasized Nvidia's commitment to complying with US government policy and adapting to any tariffs. The resumption of H20 chip sales is expected to significantly alleviate Nvidia's financial impact. The company previously estimated losses of $2.5 billion and a further $8 billion in missed sales due to the restrictions. While the restart of sales is anticipated, Huang acknowledged it could take 9 months to fully rebuild supply chains. Despite the ongoing US-China tech tensions, Huang expressed confidence in Huawei's abilities, highlighting their advanced chip design and independent cloud system. He emphasized that discounting Huawei's capabilities or China's manufacturing prowess would be naive, noting Huawei's progress in developing its own AI ecosystem as a testament to their resilience and innovation.
In our next story, Taylor Swift's dad Scott recovering after undergoing heart surgery. Taylor Swift's father, Scott Swift, 73, recently underwent quintuple bypass surgery and is recovering well. The surgery, which took place over a month ago, followed a routine checkup where doctors discovered a condition requiring the procedure. This was not the result of a heart attack. Swift's family, including Taylor, her brother Austin, and mother Andrea, have been providing unwavering support throughout his recovery. Taylor and her family have maintained a close and supportive relationship throughout the ordeal. This is particularly poignant given Taylor's previous public writings about her parents' health struggles, including her mother's battle with cancer. Scott and Andrea Swift have been dedicated to supporting Taylor's career since her early days, attending many of her sold-out Eras tour shows. The news of Scott's surgery comes after a year of public appearances by the family, including a viral moment where Scott was seen handing out chicken tenders to fans at one of Taylor's concerts. This charming gesture further highlights the family's close bond and their connection with Taylor's dedicated fanbase. Scott's recovery is progressing positively, and the family appreciates the outpouring of support they've received. Further updates on his health are not yet publicly available.
In our next story, what will happen to PBS and NPR stations if the Senate votes to claw back funding? The Senate is poised to vote on a measure that would eliminate nearly $1.1 billion in federal funding for public media, impacting PBS and NPR stations nationwide. This would cause significant budget shortfalls starting this fall, potentially forcing some local stations off the air and reducing programming across the board. While larger stations may be able to offset losses through increased fundraising, smaller stations, especially in rural areas, heavily rely on this federal funding for basic operations. This could lead to reduced news coverage, educational programming, and even the disappearance of some local broadcasts. The cuts target funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, the organization distributing federal funds to approximately 1,500 local stations. While PBS and NPR have other revenue streams, the federal funding is crucial, acting as a base upon which they build additional funding through donations and grants. The loss of this base would trigger a ripple effect impacting national programming as well. For example, although federal funding constitutes only 1% of NPR's revenue, member station fees, significantly impacted by the cuts, contribute 30%. Republicans supporting the cuts cite fiscal concerns and allege political bias in NPR's reporting. They argue that taxpayer support for public media is unnecessary in the digital age and that the organizations promote a partisan agenda. However, Democrats strongly oppose the measure, highlighting the value of public media, especially for local news and emergency information dissemination in underserved communities. They view the move as an attack on independent journalism and an attempt to silence critical voices. The potential impact on programming is multifaceted. While shows like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood might not disappear immediately, reduced funding for producers and stations will eventually constrain the marketplace for non-commercial television and radio programming, limiting the creation and distribution of vital local news, children's programs, and documentaries. The long-term consequences could significantly diminish public media's reach and influence.
In our next story, Oakmont shuts out Wyndham Clark for damaging locker. Wyndham Clark, the 2023 U.S. Open champion, has been banned from Oakmont Country Club after damaging his locker following a missed cut at this year's U.S. Open. Oakmont's president, John Lynch, confirmed the ban in a letter to members, stating the decision came after discussions with the USGA and the club's board. The ban will be lifted only if Clark pays for the damages, contributes to a charity chosen by the club, and completes counseling or anger management therapy. This incident follows a similar outburst at the PGA Championship in May, where Clark damaged a sponsor's sign. Clark publicly apologized for his actions at the Travelers Championship, expressing regret and a desire to move forward. He cited both highs and lows in his career this year, attributing the incidents to letting his emotions get the best of him. Currently ranked 28th in the world, Clark is preparing for this week's Open Championship in Northern Ireland, hoping to put these events behind him and focus